Hey guys, this is Bat again. We are right now in kingdom number 1171. That's the kingdom with which we got matched with in the kingdom versus kingdom event. It's the kingdom. Let me show you the Lord Power ranking of. It's like it's filled up with the high power castles 4G, 2G, 2G. I mean, lot of high powers. The highest that we have in our kingdom, I think, is 900 million or so, and very very good stats of these castles. So the the matching was done with this kingdom, uh, but yeah, let's see where we do we stand in this uh, event, right? So right now we are at 62.7 G score. They have scored like 66.4 G. I think we can catch up. Uh, we are ranked at 1 with 11G, 11.5 G points. But on top of it, what they could do is they could take our throne. So they have whatever we score, they will actually take half of our score back from us, and that will be added to them, right? So, when they occupied the throne, because we recently switched from the King's Alliance to the Enemy Alliance, and strategically for the civil war going on in our kingdom, we thought let the palace be reset. I mean, let's not reset the palace by itself. Let's there be no king, so that next week when we fight for getting the palace, the enemy, that is the enemy alliance in our kingdom, cannot use all the king's skills like destroy skill or troop prohibition skill, all that stuff. Because that's what has been happening. I mean, earlier we had tried, apart from doing 5 to 6 rallies in the same time, they also had these benefits. So we'll try again. We'll try again to get the palace for ourselves in the next week's throne war, and we'll record that for you guys. We'll put a lot of T12 and all, and T11, and we'll see what layering we have to do, and we'll try to defend it. Win or loss, it will be fun to watch. So stay tuned for that. And for this video, I'm going to talk about how we can increase our defense damage and defense damage reduction. Very critical. Of course, for next week Throne War, I will have to up my defense damage and defense damage reduction for sure. But let's see overall what could you do, what can you do, how can you improve it, and you may not be able to do all, but at least it's good to know that these are the possibilities or these are the possible action options that you could go for, and among which is the one that you could do first, and likewise to increase your defense damage and defense damage reduction. The higher the defense damage and defense damage reduction you have, the better chance you have to face any battle on your castle. If any beast attack you, you will have a high chance to get a win, a successful defense. That's good. And also, if you're fighting for throne and all, and if you want to occupy the throne, it's good to have high defense damage and defense damage reduction. All right, so let's see how we can improve, how we can up our stats regarding this. All right, so here's what you could do for defense damage reduction. We'll talk about defense damage also in this video, but for the defensive damage reduction, level 38 dragon glass, let's say you get 23 percentage for that. There's an equipment bonus of 8 percentage, that there's an item which comes in. It's very expensive, that thing, but if you want to go for that, you could do that, but I'll count the original values. So 23% there. Dragon word fortification gives you 17%. You also have other dragon word that you could use, uh, and then you also have the archangel leg guard. uh, then which gives you around 10.8 percentage of boost. Uh, I'll show you how to do that, and how you can gain that, what you have to do to gain that. Likewise, level 48 hero purification, we'll talk about that, which gives you 9% in total. You have Ancestral Spirit research, Mercy of God, and Mercy of God for Crown and Scepter. So only one you can activate, of course, but the other one gives you 30% of whatever you have upgraded to, right? Whatever level you are at. So that gives you 20 and 6%. These are all maxed out stats. Uh, and I know you don't you may not want to go for maxing out the stats, but it's always useful to know about them. And maybe you can go till some level till it becomes very expensive. Then it makes sense to try other stuff like the other stuff in this list, right? And you got a red dragon, gives you 25 percentage. We talk about that. Useful. You have occult analysis 10 percentage, easy to get. College research, of course, so people do that. Then you have the Prince Ryan buff, 6 percentage, and the flower uh, donation buffs that keeps coming every event, right? So in total, if you go with this 8% equipment buff, that gives you around 190 defense damage reduction. That's a lot, right? So let's see. Uh, let's go through each of these items in the castle and see how you can do it. All right. So let's start with the level. Uh, I mean, you could go for level 38 and get the defensive stats, so defense damage and all. But I would prefer to use a level 38 for offensive damage and use a level 28 for the defensive damage. So let's see how much you can purify there. Um, yeah, level 28 is this. We go to purification. So I could get defensive damage till around 21% or so, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's one thing. So that's your level 28 dragon class, which I will suggest not go with level 38. Use that for offensive things, right? Offensive attacks and all. So that's one. Let's go and check the uh, the mercy of God crown, and also the scepter, the Loki scepter, right? So here, if you see the max defensive damage reduction, you can go is 20%. So could go for that. I went for I think right now it's 11 percentage or something. Yes, and post that it becomes very expensive to get. So I will prefer to do the other stuff as opposed to increasing this. And then if I go for the Loki scepter, then here if you see you only get 30% of the stats because it's not activated. Only one you can activate, but you can at least get 30% even without activating it. So here also I plan for doing till some level because it's anyhow 30% and then it becomes expensive to get. So better to invest in other stuff, right? So these are the first two items. And then if you go for the Ryan Prince, which is here, right? This also, as they were saying that in the chart at 6% the max you could go. This is you can upgrade it. It takes gold to upgrade these stats, so you can upgrade the defensive damage taken. We'll talk about defensive damage also, but this place is where you can upgrade that stats and all. Okay, and then we are in the Saga's Tower. Here, if you go to, yeah, the Book of Eternal Life, here there are two signs, Razor and Barrier. Now, both of them gives you defensive This gives you defensive damage. We'll talk about defensive damage reduction. So here I'm at 80 percentage. If I get all 100%, I'll get 100. Around 10% of defensive damage taken, which is good. So I'm yet to complete that part. And okay, and then we talk about the dragon word. Let's talk about the dragon word and the dragon itself. Uh, it's good to get this fortification. I would like to get it, uh, if possible, by the next throne war. Let's see. But it gives you defensive damage taken as 17 percentage. Pretty nice. And then you also have the red dragon, which actually can give you a defensive damage of, let's see that, I think 25% something. Let's see the skills. So troop defense when defending the castle. 25% troop attack, and yeah, when defense. So troop defense when defending the castle gives you 25 percentage straight up. So that's the other thing. Plus, I believe you could also get the defensive damage from the Archangel leg guard. So I could actually have three random attributes, and all of them can be defensive damage reduction, which gives you 1.8 into 3. And if you wear them at the hero and at the lord levels, you get accordingly that much of boost. But well, I would rather have uh, split it between defensive damage and defensive damage reduction uh, accordingly, right? So, but you got the option. If you want to uh, purify or reforge your equipment like that, you could do that. I'll make a separate video for reforging and all. I know a lot of people have been asking for that, but yeah, we'll see that later. All right. Okay, and then so we talked about the dragon, we talked about dragon glass, we talked about the Ryan hero, the dragon glass, the dragon word, right? And so the other stuff is you could go to your hero, and in hero purification, you could basically have, if I get a list of attributes, you could get defensive damage reduction multiple times. Also, in the science, you can increase your defensive damage reduction. So if I go to city defense, and I think if I go to, yeah, battlements first, so you get 5% here. Then I believe 10% more here makes it 15, and I think 5% more, 20, and then uh, 5 more, 30. So yeah, you can increase a lot with the science uh, in the city defense section itself. Okay, and the other one is the ancestral spirit. So here, if you go to the four civilizations that we have, let's start with the Dragonborn. So Dragonborn's slaughter. Here, if I see there are 4 5 sciences, but if I see this one, defensive damage taken, the reduction, the maximum thing is 2.5. So you could do that and to upgrade this also. So you could do that same thing for all the civilization, and they basically will sum up uh, these numbers, right, and hence will increase your stats. So defensive damage, this is maxed out here, and likewise for this is also so 2.5. Force of relation makes it 10 percentage that you can decrease this. And I believe the last one will be the flowers. So if you uh, send out flowers to anybody in the kingdom, any of your allies and all, so you actually get a defensive damage increase again by 5 percentage. So that's again useful to overall up your defensive damage reduction. Okay, so I think this video is getting longer. I will make a separate one for the defensive damage itself, and also we'll post out videos for offensive damage and offensive damage reduction. Uh, Hope these videos are helping. Try out yeah, so try out what you can uh, increment in terms of whatever options you have right now in this table to increase your stats regarding the defensive damage reduction. It's good to know, and you could accordingly try to increase in all these different options that you have. The higher you get, the more chances that you will have a successful different defense against a beast, right? All right. Okay, we'll keep uploading more videos. You guys keep watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and please share. Thank you.